Welcome to the Business at the Speed of Sell podcast, where you learn how to accelerate the growth of your online and offline businesses, profits, and personal income. Tune in daily to get the tips, tricks, and tactics that have generated over $100 million in online and offline sales. Now, here's your host, Anthony Flatt.
You're listening to the Business at the Speed of Sell podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Flatt. Today, we're going to talk about just when I figured out all the answers, they went and changed all the questions. You know, we've heard this before, but it's really in today's society, in today's business environment, it is absolutely true. I have lots of friends and business associates that are wanting to develop a new product or wanting to launch a new division or wanting to start up a new business. And they're constantly telling me, well, I've almost got it figured out. I've been studying this for years. We're almost there. I've got my plan almost together. Well, here's the problem. By the time you figure all that stuff out, half of it's not going to mean anything anymore anyway. I mean, today the market is moving so fast. Business is moving so fast. The internet and technology is moving so fast that by the time you sit down and figure out the best mousetrap, it's all changed. And so all of that investment in time and effort in trying to figure everything out is wasted. Now, I'm not saying that you go out there and just do whatever, however you want to do it. I mean, there's a saying that I've used for years, and it's common saying, you know, making sure that you're ready, making sure that you don't go out and, you know, do the ready, fire, aim scenario. But honestly, I now hear people actually saying that that's exactly what they do. They go out, they launch something, and then they figure out exactly how to hone it in and really perfect it. And I use a saying all the time of implement and refine. And that's very similar, right? I want to get something out there and then I'll figure it out. That doesn't mean just throw just any old thing out there. I mean, it's you put together your best thing and get it out there. If it's a sales program, if it's a product, if it's a new business concept, get something going. Don't spend too much time designing the office and the furniture and the wallpaper before you even know if you have a viable business. Get that out there and test the waters and give yourself some time to be able to tweak and change and adjust. And that's something that I don't think very many people do. I think most people want to spend all of their time studying and thinking and buying, you know, programs and hiring consultants. And, you know, I appreciate them hiring consultants. A lot of times I'm the consultant they're hiring, but you have to do something with the information that I provide you. If you want to know if this new product you want to take to market, if there's a market for it, and I do an analysis this year, and I give you that analysis and I give you the points of who your competitors are and how you can compete and what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are, you know, and what your strengths and weaknesses are and how you can go and attack them. And I build this plan for you. If you wait another year or two before you start executing that plan, a lot of that won't be valid anymore because everybody's continuing to move forward. You can't stand still. If you're standing still, you're going backwards. You have to constantly be able to move forward and you have to be able to move quite quickly. You have to be able to implement. So many people are planning, and they never implement anything. And it's really discouraging to watch my friends and coworkers and business associates just be stuck because they're, you know, what do they say? Paralysis by analysis, right? I mean, they're constantly looking at things and they don't get something done. I'd really want to encourage you to just get out there. You're never going to know all of the answers. You know, Andrew Carnegie said that he doesn't have to know all the answers. He just needs to know how to hire people who have the answers. And there's a lot of truth in that. You don't need to know how to develop a web page. Hire somebody to develop the web page. You don't need to know how to design graphics. Hire somebody to do that. You don't necessarily even need to know how to develop a sales and marketing strategy or a sales funnel. Hire somebody to do that. You don't need to know how to do social media. Hire somebody to do that. You know, whatever your bread and butter is, if you're really, really good at doing education or delivering or building the next cool software program or the next cool plugin or a physical product, spend your time developing that, but then get it out to the market and get it out there and get it sold. Don't build the best thing there ever was and then find out that there's no market for it. I'm really not a big fan of building a widget and then finding a market for it. I actually like to go the other way and find a market that's already out looking for something or already out buying something that I can then deliver something to that market that they're already looking for and that they're already buying. And I don't need to conquer that entire market. I only need my part of the market. I need my percentage of customers to buy my product compared to the competition for me to be successful. This idea that you're going to invent something that nobody's ever thought of, nobody's ever heard of, nobody's ever done is probably not going to happen. Occasionally, the people do stumble onto those things, but usually, if you peel back the layers and you really look at when somebody invents something that nobody else has ever thought of, it's usually a byproduct of them inventing something else. They invented another product. I'll give you an example. The guy that invented the sticky note was not trying to invent a sticky note. He was actually trying to invent an adhesive that could not be torn apart. So he actually invented the opposite. He invented adhesive that could be torn off and reapplied and torn off and reapplied. But he learned that or invented that in the process of trying to build an adhesive that would not give, that would not come off. So just know that you want to get your product out there, you want to get your idea out there, and you want to test the market, and you want to see if there's people that want to buy that product before you spend all of this time and effort developing this. Now, I know some people that develop training programs in internet and marketing products that go to the extreme, and they'll actually develop their marketing first and, say that they're going to do all of these things and build this marketing, and then they'll put it out there and then they'll sell the product. And then they'll wait and see if they get any sales before they actually build anything. Now, I think that's a little bit extreme for my taste. I think that's a little scary for my taste. What happens if I put it out there and, that's kind of saying I'm going to put it out there and I bet nobody's going to buy it. I don't build products thinking that. I build products thinking I'm going to put this out there and 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 people are going to buy this product. So my mentality is immediately upon launching this product, I'm going to have thousands and thousands of sales. Well, if I haven't actually created the product, think of the kind of pressure that would put on somebody to try to and then come up with something, not only come up with something, but now you have to live up to the marketing hype. Whatever you said in all of your marketing, whatever your message was, whatever your sales letter said, whatever your direct mail drop said, whatever your TV ad said, whatever your radio spot said, you now have to live up to that, and you have to live up to that very quickly. And I don't know, I think it's very hard to just develop something on the spot that has any depth to it. It has any real deep meaning and understanding. It could only be a cursory look at whatever this subject is if this person can develop all of the marketing and then just on the fly develop the content. So there is some balance there, though, because I don't think you develop the full product, the final version of the product, and then start working on your marketing. I think my preference is do it in phases. Start off with, okay, this is a phase. I'm going to develop this much of the product. I'm going to develop the initial part of the product, the first phase of the product, first generation, first draft, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to put that out there. And then I'm going to test it. I'm going to develop my marketing campaign and whatever my sales strategy is. And I'm going to see if it sells. And if it sells, and if my salespeople are successful selling that product, then I'll go and make it better. And usually I like to put it out there and then immediately get some feedback from the market to see if the things that I was planning to add to it are the things that they're asking for. And I oftentimes, I would say maybe as high as 50% of the time, find out that the things that they're most interested in are things that I was not planning on putting in the product. The things that I was planning on putting in the product, they think are okay, but those weren't the high points. So it's really good to be able to put something out there and then immediately get some feedback and then make your next version better and your next version better and your next version better. And if you feel bad that the first people bought your first version, you can certainly offer them the second version as a small upgrade fee, or you can give it to them for free, or you can give it to them for free for providing you some feedback, whatever the deal is. But if you develop this first phase product and nobody buys it, it's a complete disaster, then you've only spent a smaller amount of time developing it. You haven't spent months or years developing something. So, spend some time on it, develop a good product, put it out there, and if it sells, make it better. If it doesn't sell, move on to the next thing.
If you have a question for Anthony, then head over to www.anthonyflatt.com and leave him a voicemail message for a chance to have your question featured on the show. Thanks for listening to the Business at the Speed of Sell podcast at www.businessatthespeedofsell.com.